living conditions there weren't that great. It was we lived in the middle of a gang-infested area. We lived in Echo Park, so the building that we used to live in, the gang members used to hang out in front of our apartment building almost all day and night. 3, 4 in the morning, they were still out there playing their music and doing their drugs.
There's a liquor store in front of the apartments, so I believe that's what would
that's what I guess what kind of was a good place for them to hang out. We live right in front of the liquor store, so that's I guess not that good. A lot of killings, drugs, and graffiti on our building. And on top of that, our living conditions weren't that great. The landlord that we had, wasn't very helpful at all. Things would break down. He would blame us, and things would end up being our responsibility. Roaches or anything like that were a problem in the building, he would expect us to take care of it. So I would, the living conditions there were not that great. Best way to describe it is, slumlord. Just, someone who didn't really care about the building and, its tenants. And, we used to live with her mom and her sister, two-bedroom apartment, 800 square feet, I think it was, very, very tiny. So all of us being in there was not that great, as far as privacy, living conditions. Too many people in a small place is never that good.
Yep.
Yeah. Eli, so we have 3 boys. Ethan is our oldest, he's 12. Eli, he's 6, and Ezra, he's 5 years old. Eli has moderate autism. So that was a challenge in itself for us, being young parents and obviously having a child with, our middle child with autism. We didn't really know what to expect. I don't know if you guys know, but it's a spectrum. Not all kids with autism are the same. Some are a little bit more severe, some are, less severe. So, you don't really know when they're kids where they will land as far as like where in the spectrum they'll be. I guess you could say more or less have an idea, but some kids end up, changing for the better, some don't. But the challenges that we face with Eli was having tight space. Kids with autism have sensory issues. So, there's too many people, there's loud noises, they don't have a place to, regulate or calm themselves. It could be very challenging. One of the other issues we had with Eli was he used to what's called AWOLing, or just running away, right? He would, at any moment's notice, he would just take off, and that was it's still one of our greatest concerns, because at any point in time he could just decide, hey, you know what? There's a blue car over there, and I really want to see it, and I don't care what anyone says. I have to see that blue car, right? And he'll basically just take off, which he's done in the past. Here at this house, which has been, it's been a blessing for Eli, honestly. We were able to get a dog. Dog has helped him with his speech, giving him commands, checking in on the dog. Captain, that's his name. We've got a German Shepherd. He's a rescue. So that's been a blessing. It helps his speech a lot. He has his own room where he can kind of just like go and decompress. He needs to be away from us for a little bit. We already know, okay, give Eli his time, give him his space. He wants to be alone, let him go calm down. And, that's a blessing. And, that we didn't expect, right? We didn't know that we needed. And, that's been a blessing from this house for Eli. Anything else? I'm trying to think.
One thing I bring up a lot, Eli, at the time, he was a year, I want to say, a year old. He would do a lot of running. There were times when he was just so hyper. He would make a lot of noise, and a lot of neighbors would bang on our walls. Yeah. And I was just like, oh gosh, we gotta stay quiet. But it's something we weren't able to control at the time, and how he mentioned, we were very new to this. Our oldest didn't have autism, so we didn't know what to expect. And how he mentioned, we were young, so definitely him being able just to run all he wants now and be free to do whatever he wants.
Yeah, definitely.
It's definitely, like he mentioned, a blessing.
Yeah, that's definitely a blessing as well. You don't have to worry about the neighbors, being upset that Eli wants to run around and, yell or whatever. Here we just, we understand, we know, we've been through it, and we understand that he needs to, he just needs to let that energy out and be him. So, not a lot of people understand that. And, thank God that we have this house, because he can do it. And we don't have to feel bad about it. We don't have to like stress or worry that we're going to get a complaint with the manager or anything like that. So definitely.
We had just found out where the homes were going to be built. Like you mentioned, there were the two other houses that were already here. Like how many
what?
How long ago was that?
Maybe about 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah. I remember, and very clearly,
at that point in time, we still didn't know that we were going to be selected for the program. We had just turned our application in and we waited to hear back, and there was 2 homes on the lot.
There you go.
And Magaly, she's like, let's go over there, let's go pray. And I was like, I was a little hesitant.
Yeah, we're like, honestly, we go to church. We believe what faith can do, what hope can do. We believe in God. And I told Kevin, let's just go to the property. And he's like, okay, let's go. So we drove over here, and I remember going to the left-hand side of the property.
Yeah.
And I just kneeled and I just prayed. I prayed and just hoped that God could do a miracle, and he did. And I strongly believe that God put habitat in the perfect timing, like how I mentioned to you, Paul. God's timing is perfect.
We moved into our home in October of 2019. So I think this might be about 6 months prior to 5 to 6 months prior to the, COVID hitting and the lockdown. Like I said before, we both work at Kaiser. At that time, my wife was still working at the office, and I work at the hospital here in Hollywood. So, there was a lot of unknown questions, right? Things that we didn't know about the virus, how deadly it was, and, just we didn't know what to expect. So, thank God that my wife was able to work from home. They gave her that option. So they sent her home. She set up her office here in one of the rooms, and which was great. We were very, very happy that she got that opportunity. But as for me, I have to go to the hospital, and my job has to be done there. Unfortunately, I couldn't come home. So what we ended up doing was, I ended up quarantining myself in one of our restrooms. We have three restrooms here at the house. So the bottom restroom, the half restroom that's here at the house, I basically just got like a thick layer of 3M plastic and, nailed it up on the ceiling, on the side walls, put a bunch of tape and turned the fan on, well, the vent better said, from that restroom, so it could, circulate the air outside. And, I ended up sleeping there for 4 months, 4 or 5 months. We didn't know, what to expect. My wife has diabetes, Eli with his autism, and our oldest son, Ethan, he had, a history of asthma before, which, has gotten better. He doesn't have to use an inhaler anymore. There were a lot of unknown questions that we had, and, I was very worried. I didn't want to bring anything home. For the most part, I'm pretty healthy. So I was like, okay, if I get it, I think I'll be okay. We had to take that risk, and, we ended up doing it. But, thank God again that we had this house. We had that restroom with the vent that was able to say, okay, you know what? I don't have to leave, like still be here, because that was another important thing for us. Like, me being home and just my presence was helpful to her, because, everything that was going on at that time, it's very stressful. But it wasn't the same, the kids were like, Dad, come out, they could still hear me. And I was like, no, I can't, and it's hard to explain to them. At that time, they were 5 and 4 years old. So it's kind of hard to explain to them, like, hey, you know what, there's a deadly virus, I may have it, I don't know, and I don't want to get you guys sick. So, we just said, sorry, we can't do it. And we went with it. But as time progressed, my wife was like, you know what, I can't do it anymore. It
was a lot. Like, my job required for me to have an extra or like space, an office. So definitely having the home helped me out, being able to work from home, not having to go to work, and let's not just mention saving gas. But definitely at the time, I'm like, okay, the boys are gonna be at home. They need their own space. I had two of the boys downstairs, which was the oldest and the youngest, Ezra and Ethan. I had both of them downstairs doing virtual learning. And I had Eli, who, thank God for his teacher, he's like, don't worry about it. I know Kevin's quarantined. I know you're working from home. I'll just take time from my own time to teach you with Eli together. So I was like, okay, Eli's gonna be in the room. The boys are gonna be downstairs. My office is upstairs, so I'll be able to keep an eye on Eli as well. And, with technology nowadays, I was able to put some cameras up, making sure they're okay. And then just having the space in general. Like I mentioned, my work required for me to have space. I was like, okay, let's turn in the room into an office. Here I go. Like, I just send them, what was it? Like, not verification, but like pictures that I had the space. They're like, okay, here's your computer. Here's everything you need. Internet connection is there. So definitely it was, having that home was just a big blessing during this time.
Going back to that, we just thank God that we had this house, because, if we were still in our apartment, I wouldn't have came back home. I don't know what I would have done, but definitely not came back home and, risk that chance of, the unknown, right? And, thank God so far, I haven't gotten sick with COVID. Been very careful, at the hospital, and, my clothing, everything I do, I have a little routine now, like kind of decontaminating. And, thank God again, for this house, and we can be more thankful to you guys, helping us get here. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for, hearing our story. Just really want to thank you for everything you've done, with prior or future contributions. I think I heard you guys have contributed before. We really are thankful for our house, and, we really just want to continue to contribute, as much as we can for any other person out there looking for a home. In any way that we can, either it's through our construction, helping volunteer at the construction sites. I actually I like enjoy doing that.
He finishes things now. He just doesn't leave them halfway there.
Yeah. That was the best thing too. I was gonna say, Habitat pushed me into being a little bit more handy. I kind of do some side jobs, here and there now. People do hire me to do, small things, nothing too major. And so that's it's been great. But again, just thank you for everything that you guys do. We're really blessed to have this home. We're really thankful, and we couldn't be here basically without you guys.
This is our story. There's so many stories out there that are just like us or even worse. And you guys have really made a change. You guys are doing things, and we're a product of that, what you guys are doing and providing for us. And we're really thankful, and God bless you guys. And I really mean that with the bottom of my heart. I really do. Thank you.